In 2012, my daughter Caroline was a healthy 5-year-old that had just begun kindergarten, and my older daughter had just begun third grade. So it was a new school year, and we had it on our list to do. On our list to do would be to get a flu vaccine, and we got busy with the new school year. And before I knew it, it was December, and I realized, oh my goodness, we still need to get that flu vaccine. Unfortunately, we never had the opportunity. In 2012, my healthy 5-year-old daughter became gravely ill with influenza and double pneumonia, and she would have to be sent by ambulance to our closest hospital, and that's actually where they diagnosed her. Shortly thereafter, they informed me that she would need to be sent again by ambulance to another facility that would have a dedicated pediatric unit. And once there, her health deteriorated rapidly. The doctors basically told us that there was nothing more that they could do for her there, and that she would need to be intubated, and ultimately she would need to be placed on a special oscillating ventilator, which was not actually available at their location, that she would need to be airlifted. And I just remember being completely alarmed, because here this healthy, vibrant 5-year-old within a matter of 24 hours was clinging to life and unable to breathe on her own, all as a result of influenza. And I remember, as we were trying to grapple with this, my husband pulled the doctor aside and he said, "Could you please explain this? I think there might be some confusion. Our daughter is here because of influenza and pneumonia, and now they're talking about airlifting her and intubating her." And the doctor turned around and said, "Sir, over 50,000 people die each year from this vaccine preventable disease." And I just remember feeling as if the oxygen had been sucked out of the room, because I had never heard that statistic. And I had no idea that young and healthy individuals, particularly my young 5-year-old, could become that ill from something that I thought was insignificant. Obviously, I couldn't be more wrong. We were incredibly lucky that Caroline lived through this critical illness, and that she ultimately made a full recovery. But, she made a full physical recovery. But unfortunately, these illnesses are incredibly traumatic, not only for the child that's ill, but also for each and every family member, all of her classmates, her kindergarten teacher. I still receive texts to this day during December, which is when Caroline became ill so many years ago, stating that they got their flu vaccine in honor of Caroline. And I think that speaks to the nature of how incredibly difficult and how incredibly impactful her illness was. When we left Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and walked to the parking lot, it was like being on the receiving end of life's winning lottery ticket. And it was probably a day of my greatest joy. But having met many other families who have lost their loved one and lost children to a vaccine preventable disease, such as flu or COVID, you realize that it's kind of a hollow victory, because every single one of those children was worthy of being protected and having that same fairy tale ending. And I'm incredibly mindful of that. And as parents, we baby proof our homes, and we make sure our children are strapped safely into their car seats, and we make sure to brush their teeth each night before bed. And we do all these things to keep them safe, making sure that they have optimum health. And really, I think parents in particular need to think about getting their children vaccinated in that same light, that you're just doing that as one more task to check off the to-do list in order to keep our children healthy. Each day I wake up and it's the first thing, and I think about, even though this happened in 2012, I think about what my child went through and what my family went through, all as a result of a vaccine preventable disease. And I live with tremendous regret, because it's one thing to make the choice not to get vaccinated for yourself, but it's something very different when you're responsible for the health and well-being of your child or your other family members. A child can't take themselves to the doctor's office, and they can't ask for their own vaccination at the age of 5. That's our responsibility. That's a parent's responsibility. And ultimately, that was my responsibility, and it fell off the radar. And it is something I will have to live with for the rest of my life.